All
It's not,
you beautiful people.
That's a good song.
Yeah, what were you saying?
Not early in the morning.
No. Who would have thunk that when the sun comes up at 4 in the morning, you'd want to go back to sleep?
The sunrise was pretty this morning.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first one I've seen up here.
First sunrise you seen?
Yeah, I think so. Usually don't get up and pee at exactly the sun rising.
Yeah.
Oh, your belt loop is coming off.
Yeah, no, it's holding
Hang
on
on
by
by
a thread.
One string.
Yep, a couple of them are. The one back here.
Oh man. The situation is more dire than I thought. Ooh. Do you think the cup is warm enough now?
Yeah, you can do whatever you wish.
Momo, Appa, both. Oops.
Yep. Those cups aren't good to pour out of. It's okay, we got a tea towel.
Good morning, Appa. Unstoppable watch.
Your insides out.
I'll start it again.
Hot mama jamma. Holy mama humma, that is hot.
What was my name yesterday?
System Mystica.
System Mystica.
Yeah, so we
different.
watched Bo Burnham's Inside for the second time the other day. And this morning I got reminded that Bo Burnham actually did a performance for YouTube called Welcome to YouTube.
Back in the day.
Like 12 years ago.
When YouTube was just a baby.
When YouTube
tube.
was relatively a baby, because we still don't know what stage of life it still could be larva, you know?
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
Yeah.
But
we're not like, we can't just think YouTube and it's there. That's probably adult YouTube is like, it's inside of us.
Brain holes.
We get a chip. That's YouTube.
That's a good point. Can never be too certain. Can I think this one?
Mm-hmm.
Will it poison me? Oops.
Oh,
sorry.
You took all of it?
Johnson?
Oh, we can just share the cup. But then, so we watched the Welcome to YouTube, and then we watched Welcome to the Internet, which is from Bo Burnham's newest special from Inside. Watch it on YouTube, not YouTube. Watch it on Netflix.
It's not
Bo
Inside
Burnham's
Out.
Inside.
It's Inside. Inside Out is a kids movie.
Yeah.
Well, it's good for all ages, actually. Inside Out is actually really good.
No, Inside Out. Okay, I was like, Bo Burnham's Inside? Yeah.
Inside, less of a family film by nature, but, you know.
Inside, less of a family film by nature? What does that mean?
Inside, the Bo Burnham special.
Oh, less of a family film.
Less of a family film
I was still on Inside Out.
Sorry, I was moving too fast for you.
Yeah, you gotta keep me up in the context, baby. So, Inside Out.
Usually you can do that pretty well.
Is the one with the emotions, the balls.
That's all you can think about.
Emotional balls.
All the other things about are balls.
But
yeah, the core memories and the each emotion, and they also have a table and they're different colors.
Mm-hmm.
Joy.
Different emotions.
Sadness.
All hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
They need perfect harmony to function.
Right. Yeah, it's a fun one. That's a fun movie.
But Bo Burnham's Inside
it's different.
It's far different. That is
special.
The comedy special that from this point, at my second viewing, I think is about I think it's about the creation of content in the internet age. Thank you. I think it's about the creation of content in the internet age and the absolute, like, massive amount of anxiety and stress there is with people to perform to pretty much nobody but themselves. And that, like,
TikTok.
yeah, any self-awareness about what you're doing creates a sort of friction in that sort of performance because you can't get into it without the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of shots of Bo watching the special. And so that,
Stop.
yeah, was done.
Was done.
And it seems one of the reviews that I've seen for it is the greatest comedy special that I never want to watch again. And it's kind of got that feel to it. Like, it just deals with the anxiety and the immense depression of, like, the being on the internet as an internet person.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just kind of in line with, like, some of those other stuff is, like,
yeah,
if you're watching it to watch, like, a happy, nice time comedy special, that's not the comedy special that Bo has delivered this time. Or, I mean, increasingly so. We also watched the previous of the specials, like
Make Happy.
Make Happy, which was like 5 years before that.
5 years ago.
In between our watches of Inside, just to
refresh our minds.
yeah, get back into the old.
Well, the first time, the opening shot, Inside, reflects the ending shot of Make Happy. So we started it and I paused it immediately and I was like, Hannah, do you see what this is? Do you remember
I didn't
this?
see.
And she was like, no. And I was like, well, this is the ending of his last special.
It'd been like 3
It had
years
been,
since I've
yeah.
seen Make Happy, but Tyler watched Make Happy daily. Just kidding.
Well, how I consume movies and long-form visual media like this is I don't watch it just once.
Don't watch this one.
I watch it like 4 to 7 times.
7?
Yeah, sometimes. Pulp Fiction I watched every day for a whole week straight the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
So
You do that.
I watch it multiple times, and the first like 2 or 3 times I don't do any analysis really. I just watch it. And then after that I can start to analyze it. Analyze it. And so that, you know, I just don't consume a lot of visual media like that. Sorry, this is spoiling.
Berlin, as they say, yeah.
And so when I do, I usually try to avoid watching anything that's kind of like a comfort film. Like I avoid watching any like superhero movies, any of the like real like action packed kind of like what would be considered mindless movies. I just avoid it, not for any moral or ethical or like elitism sort of thing. It's just the amount that I consume is very little. If I consumed long form visual media a lot, I certainly would, because it would get exhausting trying to only watch like really highbrow movies or whatever. And even then, like,
You would, though.
huh?
You would love to watch the highbrow.
Yeah, I would, but it would be interspersed within other movies of all types. Rom-coms, action movies,
Rom-coms.
any sort of thing. But since I don't consume it, it's usually by suggestion that I get something, or a certain creator. So, I had a roommate who was a little bit of a film scholar. He took a class. He took a film class in college.
Dude.
And he suggested to me the Greek filmmaker Yorgos Lanthimos, I think is his name. It's been a long time since I've said his name, but he did The Lobster and Killing of a Sacred Deer. It's some good stuff.
Mine was just air.
And that was a good time. But if people are like, hey, you know, this super popular movie, I think you would like it. I'm usually like, okay, cool. I'll never watch it though. I just won't go out of my way to watch a movie.
I mean, you're not sitting down every night when the sun goes down to watch a movie either. So you are among the few maybe who don't like consume
Or TV
television,
shows, especially TV shows. I just
regularly.
don't have the time to waste on them, really.
I mean, who has the time to waste besides you? But
I have so much time to waste on them.
yeah, it's just not something you choose.
I just don't spend my time on it.
So if you were the type of person that was sitting down every night to watch something,
Yeah.
you would probably take suggestions because you'd be looking for things, but you just don't watch anything.
That's, yeah, what I was saying earlier.
Right. Yeah, but like the way you said it didn't make sense to me.
Oh, okay. You didn't want to ask about it? Ask a
I'll
question?
clarify. Okay, I can do that. There are much fewer, or it's just so like early on.
It's early on, but also
Leaves.
yesterday I put 6 gram of tea leaves in, and today I put in 5.
Mm.
So there's 1 less gram of tea.
By the end of the time we were drinking it, though, it's like big fluff. Just like stuff in there.
This is the end of the tea cake too, so it's mostly like broken leaves and stuff. So they're not that as many full leaves.
Which cake?
This is the Year of the Pig.
Yeah.
Year of the Pig.
Getting down to the done of the pig. Just the nubbins.
Okay, so inside, and there was something else that we referenced.
Inside.
Inside.
Make happy?
No, not Bo Burnham related
Inside
at all.
Out.
What are we reading? Reading. Okay, yeah, we're reading The Infinity Key by Brian Muraresku, who is a classical scholar, which means he studies he's a law guy. He practiced law for a while. I don't know if he still is, but when you go into the classics and you study that as an undergrad, you really don't you get your PhD into it and then you hope and pray to get a job because the only jobs are academic, scholarly jobs, working for a college.
Yeah, professorships stuff.
And so sorry, I got lost.
Brian? Law guy?
Law guy. So he went into law to get a job after he got his undergraduate in this stuff. But he's a nerd and he loves to study classics.
Mm-hmm.
He knows ancient Greek
Greek.
and Italian and
Latin?
Sanskrit. Latin, sorry. No, it's
Latin.
the same area. And he, over I don't know how many years, the past handful of years, has been trying to uncover this sort of, I'll say 10 years because I think that's the metric he measures in the book, the last 10 years. He's been trying to get down to this mystery of mysteries. Nice. Get down to the bottom of this idea of what were our ancient ancestors, what were the people that birthed our civilization really doing when they were doing their religious rites. And specifically this book is about, were they consuming psychedelics as a part of their sacraments and part of their religious rituals? And a apparently that's a taboo subject, or has been since the war on drugs, right?
Especially in America,
Especially in America,
because of the war on drugs here, but
because drugs were numero uno danger, above terrorism, above nuclear fallout. Drugs were more dangerous than nuclear
weed.
fallout.
Think about that for a second.
Weed was more dangerous than a nuke being dropped on every single part of the world at once.
And really, just rid of
One
a lot
weed.
one weed, a lot of racism.
A super
Just
big
a lot
racism.
of racism.
Super big homophobia. Super big horrible imperialistic like meritocracy.
Wipe out alternative anything.
Um
Yeah.
I forgot where we were going with that though.
Brian.
What were we saying? I know the whole topic is Brian. So it was a taboo subject. The Greeks, who we're talking about here,
Yeah.
in their religious rites, at this place called Eleusis, which I had not really heard about until this guy.
Starts with an E.
Eleusis, which is a Greek city that was the center for Demeter, who is the Greek goddess of grain and seasons.
Among other things, as
Among
you
other
know,
things.
the Greek
Yeah.
tradition.
And she has a religious rite that takes place in Eleusis that was very secretive and very mysterious. And it was so secretive and mysterious that there was actually a legal mandate that if you put out any information about what this thing was, what
The
this
Mysterium. Right? They call
yeah,
it
sure.
mystery.
Yeah. If they told any of the secrets of this temple, of what their religious rites were, you'd be put to death. And there's like a record of a couple people who were put to death, but not of what information they spouted. Damn, look at your freaking muscles, dude.
Yeah.
And so, basically, in my mind, the idea of ancient peoples taking psychedelics has been, like, since high school, that has been for me something that was kind of like obvious. Like, if you look at the language of someone who has taken psychedelics and how they talk about life in the universe, and then you take like a shamanic tradition and listen to how they talk about the universe working, you can't tell. Like if you did a blind test, you're like,
Blind
okay,
taste test.
one of these is a ancient religious like speaker. One of these is a 22-year-old New Yorker who just took mushrooms. Which one is which? You wouldn't be able to tell because it's the same experience. And so the only thing really for me, oh, hey, so what's the difference? What's the difference with what? Guess
Same
with
page.
me says, oh, okay, same page. We're good. We're back.
Hi, welcome.
Welcome, Guess with me. And so the only thing that was actually really important for people in the academic world was proof, because there was no possible way to prove what they were actually doing,
Drinking.
what they were actually drinking. They know that there was a drink, they know that there was a play, they know that there was a feast. Those things are written and recorded.
Mhm.
But in terms of what they were drinking, what they were seeing, and what they were eating, those things were not recorded. And so The Immortality Key by Brian Mirarescu dives into all this stuff, and we're only like a quarter of the way through it.
Mhm.
And already it's like really opening big questions to how the interior of our society and how it started and got to this point really has taken shape between this dichotomy of being a Western Greco-Roman influenced society, or are we a Christian society?
Yeah.
And that's kind of been a conflict that's been going on since the beginning of America,
Mm-hmm.
which was never brought up. It's never been like a thing that is actually stated. But when someone asks you that question, are we Greek or are we Christian? You look at the Declaration of Independence, or you look at the Bill of Rights, and you're like, you see the identity crisis in those.
Mm-hmm.
Like, importance on democracy, but then also the horrible bullshit with the Christian God and faith. And then Manifest Destiny comes in, and then it's like, oh no, we're like a fully Christian place. But then all these immigrants from all over the world are laboring in America and building America. And they're like, well, no, we're an eclectic, democratic state, democratic republic. And so there's a big interplay between this sort of fight between democracy and Christianity, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I just read a book on the Civil War, post-Civil War Reconstruction. This is with Matt Christman on the Chapo Trap House sort of things, side of things. And I forgot what it's called, but it was basically about the failure of Reconstruction after the Civil War. For all these freed slaves, what are they going to do? How are they going to get started? Who's going to support them? And how's it going to work? Basically, the Great Migration. What are you referencing to there, Guess With Me, with the Great Migration? I'd love to dig into that. But basically, what I see now with reading Brian Murarescu's book is that there was a strong enough pull for democracy and these sort of like big Greek ideas. And the things that really were standing against it were white superiority and Christendom. That Christ was a white guy that came for the whites to spread the love of God across the world so that whatever was what the white people were doing was the right thing.
Yeah.
And basically what happens then is that all the forms of democracy that are seen as lower, which in America is the judicial branch, which has on its shoulders the whole load. The judicial branch has upon it the whole load of what we do with the slaves, what we do with the freed slaves. There was all policy was shut down or reverted. All support systems were quelched. Is that the right word?
Quenched?
Squelched.
Squelched.
All the support systems, federal or state support systems, were squelched through the Depression and before World War I. And what happened was this vestigial part of our government, the judicial system, it's not vestigial in that it's not important. It's vitally important. But it's vestigial and it has almost useless amount of power. Which is also not true. That's very reductionist. But they don't have any institutional power to make big changes for people preemptively. It's all reactionary. And so these freed slaves are put up against this judicial system where the president and the whole executive branch have no support for these people. And then the Senate and the House, no one else is supporting these people. And then it's left to the judicial branch to see if they can support these people. But even there, the racism and the sheer amount of horrible people outweighed the ability of the judicial branch to keep balance.
I mean, greed, really.
Right.
Racism and greed played key factors in that whole thing. I mean, why make a decision that benefits other people if you're scared that benefiting other people will what?
The judicial branch is like bad foster parents. It's like the real parents, the people who freed the slaves, the real parents, the branches of government that have institutional power to make laws, to make things happen, abandoned these new children of America.
Mm.
And then this foster parent came in, which is the judicial branch, which can't really do anything for them except for like make money off of all the trials. And this foster parent was just like one of those classic abusive foster parents that hated the children that they were given.
Sad.
So sad.
Sad that that's our system. But yeah, and like a little bit similarly, the gosh, no, I can't remember if it was Tulsa or if it was a different Black community that was given the land that they were promised during that time, during like a Reconstruction time. Can you remember what town it was?
Yeah, Tulsa sounds right.
Oh,
There is plenty of communities where the Freedmen's Bureau, a part of the government, was redistributing land.
Not that many, but yeah.
Not that many, but
A
some.
couple.
Enough so that there were Black communities that were sustainable.
Yeah, and then would get burned to the ground.
They would get burned, they would get murdered.
Just the 100-year anniversary recently.
Of one of them.
Yeah, but and then the government has no necessarily like support sympathy in insurance money. There's no like support for those people afterward.
They had insurance and they filed for their insurance, but they were systematically declined.
Right. That's the way. Thank you. And it's just one big shit show of Reconstruction. But that's only half of our things.
Right.
Not even half of our problems. But that whole sentiment of fear that the other people, like giving other people what they would need to survive and just scrape by in the world you would be losing out on what you
deserve.
Your hard-earned whatever. It's just a very scared philosophy. Like, it's only fear. And it's kind of ridiculous that is the basic philosophy that runs our country. It's just fear. Feels like it.
Well, that's been the basic philosophy that has ran everything, ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Any sort of system is created to try to subdue fear in some sort of way, to create such an illusion or mystification of control that no longer do you feel fear because you have the apparent safety of this thing that you built.
Yeah.
There you go, kids. The creation of all systems is to subdue fear, but it doesn't work.
Shuck.
Doesn't work.
That was the other part about you had started talking about the book with Brian Mierescu, the immortality key, and are we Greek? Are roots like deeply rooted in Greek, or did they just like chop them and start with Christianity after Jesus was like around?
Constantine.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But then
Constantine.
how did that shift? You know, we've got like pagan, Greek, Roman, times, and then Jesus is here, and then 300 years of Paleo-Christianism.
yeah,
Had to be
illegal
secretive.
Christianity.
Christianity,
Under
right?
the table,
Right.
behind closed door Christianity for 300 years.
So there has to be, and we have evidence of like some of these Christian traditions are just continued from paganism,
Mm-hmm.
and some like holy, not the Crusades, but holy crusade type things just deface a lot of pagan traditions. A lot of, they burned down. We were just reading yesterday about the burning of the Great Library in
Alexandria Library.
Alexandria. Yeah.
The first library ever.
Just all of the history before Christianity, to make a point of like, here we are, this is the new beginning of civilization.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so short-sighted and makes me feel a lot of things.
People being short-sighted. Never heard of that one.
But yeah, burning down a full library of all of the history before you so you can come through and make a statement. Replace it with your relics or your Christian relics to symbolize that this is the beginning of us now. I don't know. I disagree wholeheartedly and am still mourning the loss of the Great Library of Alexandria today. But what can you do?
At least we have the internet.
Oh.
To the internet. Have a look around.
Anything that brain of yours can think of can be done.
Except for the Library of Alexandria.
Oh, he did it.
That is gone before the internet. Everything before the internet.
But we've got, what's the Library of
Library of Babel.
Babel?
So, okay, yeah, this is fun.
Library of
The
Babel.
Library of Babel is a website.
We don't have the Library of Alexandria, but we do have.
We do have the Library of Alexandria
No, we're not.
translated
Oh.
to English somewhere in the Library of Babel. Okay, so what the Library of Babel is basically a randomly generated text document. There is all possible combinations of words. I think there's like 400 words per page. So every 400 word page that is ever able to exist.
Not even just words, symbols, like all of our English letters.
All English letters. So not even just words, yes, but every single possible 400 character page
With numbers.
already
right?
exists. So everything that you've probably ever written
It's in there.
is on the Library of Babel in
Yeah.
some capacity. And
Numbers?
so-
Right, okay, so we've got all of the English characters of the, 26.
there's no numbers.
Okay.
It's just
Letters?
letters.
Spaces, periods, commas. Right?
No, just letters and spaces.
Oh, yeah. Just letters and spaces. I thought there was. No, I was wrong.
Maybe there is, but I think it's just letters and spaces.
But any computer, like the computer generated thing is like literally anything that has ever been written because it's programmed to have everything in it.
Well, it's already created. It's not. It
not.
doesn't create it when you ask for it, because you can search for stuff or you can just go in and look.
Mm-hmm.
But
nuts.
when you search for something, it's not creating a page with that stuff. That page is already created.
You're looking at like archives.
So if you took a transcript of what I'm saying right now and you search what I am saying, you will find it on the Library of Babel, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
It
And
has
so the Library of Alexandria is
technically in
technically in there. We just don't know
there.
what is
But
it,
I'll
what
never
is it.
find it. With your. Yeah, so it has all of the ways that you possibly could have eaten your meal today in it. So, like, if you have not yet eaten lunch, let's say, dinner, supper, whatever you call that their meal that you'll be eating next. Excuse me. You can say, use your name, insert name here. Hannah will eat,
Boom.
and then just search it, and you will find all of the options, things that you could possibly eat or have eaten, or yeah, give it a random prompt.
It probably won't give you anything that's food.
Right. But you can set it to be like random letters or words, so it'll be a funny word maybe
Yeah.
if you look at a few of them.
We got one. We were reading random ones, and it was like something,
Through.
something, and then triangulating who done it.
Who done it?
WHODUNNIT. Who done it?
Triangulating. It was something that we laughed at for a very, very long time.
Very long time. It was, yeah, we were in quarantine, and I had a weird, maybe false positive test. I think it's false positive. I never tested positive when we spent the whole time together. No one that we were in contact with had it. No one that we were in contact with got it.
Mm-hmm.
Super weird.
I didn't,
Either way, we
necessarily
spent-
know anybody that
Yeah.
had it directly, so obviously it can be
Either way, we spent 2
more
weeks
complex spread.
hanging out. Well, she spent 2 weeks. Since I still never tested positive, I spent 2 weeks and then another 2 weeks.
Another 10
Week.
days.
10 days.
About that.
And so, but during that 2 weeks, we went on the library battle, and in our deliriousness, laughed for probably about an hour and a half
Tyler cried
at
laughing.
triangulating who done it.
That's good.
But yeah, so if you're interested in something to watch Bo Burnham's Inside. If you're interested in something to read The Immortality Key by Brian Murarescu.
Mm-hmm.
If you're interested in something to listen to the Avett Brothers music.
As always. Or Clem Snide.
Or Clem Snide.
Interested in Just Beyond, the album by Clem Snide. It's really good.
And if you're interested in living a more aware life, meditate.
Mm-hmm. It's
Do
helpful.
your practices. It's okay, you can do it. It's okay, you can do it.
And if you're looking for something to waste time on the internet with, Library of Babel, who's got your back?
Library Babel. If you're looking for something to feel, grab a blanket,
Mm-hmm.
rub it on your body and face.
If you're looking for something to grow, oh my gosh, I think last night I dreamed that I had a beard, like yours.
Whoa.
I was just growing like up here and then like down here. I really did dream that. I looked in the mirror and I was like,
Yeah.
it's so lopsided.
If you're looking for something to grow some basil or succulents.
Yep. If you're looking at something to paint with, your fingers, if you don't have any paint brushes, are a beautiful painting tool.
If you're looking for something taste, tea. Actually, here's my suggestion. Depending on your price range.
Yep.
Yunnan Sourcing,
Oh, I thought you were going to go in a different direction. Keep going.
for tea. Yunnan Sourcing is where I get most of my tea from. Because I like pu'ers and they get pu'ers. That's from Yunnan. But if you're into like high quality tea and you don't mind paying the premium for it, Mayleaf, which is a tea house in the UK with this very passionate YouTube star Don May.
You can start.
YouTube star Don May, his tea house, and they have some really friggin' fantastic teas there. Some of the best I've ever had. And so there's that. Yunnan Sourcing or Mayleaf, whichever one you think would fit your price range better.
Yeah. Or if you're looking for something to munch instead of drink,
Sip.
as far as tasting goes, We
Lavash.
lavash cracker thingies are really nice. Actually, I was thinking get some organic bananas.
Organic bananas, man. Buy one of those singles of a banana, not a bunch of banana, and then buy a bunch of organic bananas.
Banana.
And then do a side by side taste test when they're like, I don't know what level of ripeness you guys are into, but usually for a non-organic banana to taste like really good, you have to wait till it gets like brown spots on it. It's like super yellow and has like brown spots on it. That's
Some
like
people are like really
when it's
grossed
good.
out by like those brown spots.
Right, they're really grossed out by the brown spots. But also the more so what's happening is the banana is pretty starchy, right? And so there's enzymes that are turning those starches into sugars that taste sweeter instead of starchy. So like a potato is super starchy, but a banana is also pretty starchy. But it's just over time as it ripens, that starch gets turned into other sugars. I think it's simpler sugars. And that is what gets you the sweeter banana flavor. But what also happens then is that the texture of the banana starts to suck. And so if you take a banana, have the organic and the non-organic banana both be mostly yellow with a little bit of green on the tips, it'll change your life. Swear to God.
Organic bananas. We are newly organic food.
And I keep saying we're
excited
organic
about
converts.
we're excited about trying more organic food. But bananas were our starting point, absolutely. And organic bananas are just good.
It tastes and feels more like a banana than the other bananas.
And I didn't know that I didn't really feel like this non-organic banana didn't taste or feel like a banana until I knew what an organic banana felt and tasted like. So you don't know until you know, you know?
Yeah, it's just like psychedelics.
Yeah. Great metaphor.
Great metaphor. Eat organic, like psychedelics. All right.
Oh,
Go.
that's another really cool thing about the Brian Muraresku book is that Brian, in his academic scholarly scholar times, decided that he's not gonna do psychedelics during his research time, or
He didn't even decide.
He hasn't
He's
done
just not
psychedelics.
going to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good point. He is researching all of these, psychedelic clues of the ancient history of our world, and he's not going off of his own psychedelic experiences so that he can maybe be a little bit more respected in the world of scholarship, academia.
It's more like an accidental strategic move.
Yeah, totally. I mean, he wasn't
He's
going to...
just not doing it for the book.
But if you are one of those that's like, oh, woo-woo, psychedelic, it's just some stoner trying to prove history is different. He's not, so I thought that was a cool point about the book as well.
Yeah, he's a friggin' nerd.
Yep.
All right, I have to poop. And
Me too.
so I think it's about time. Let's
All right.
spend our time together in silence.
All right, a couple moments. Just breathe with us.
Yeah. If you're catching this the day that it's going up, then we will probably be doing See You at Mike's tonight.
Woohoo!
So I can say See You at
See you
Mike's.
at Mike's. Bye now.
Bye, everyone. Ba, ba, ba.